Welcome back to another literature revision session with Miss Sweet. Today we are looking at the Émigrée poem by Rumens. I will do an entire walkthrough of the poem to highlight key literary devices throughout. The Émigrée was written by the British poet Rumens. The poem is written in first person, describing someone who was forced to flee her homeland and emigrate to another country because of war and tyranny. Though the speaker can never return to her home, it still occupies an important place in her heart. She keeps it alive through memory, which is compared to sunlight throughout the poem, suggesting warmth and vitality. The poem deliberately avoids tying itself to a particular context, instead looking more generally at the immigrant experience, with all its trauma and nostalgic longing for home. Here is a list of key vocab and phrases used within the poem. The state refers to the émigré country, it is painted as oppressive. Tanks refer to the military vehicle, suggesting it is set later than the 20th century. Tyrants are cruel and harsh leaders. Frontiers refers to front lines at the center of conflict. Taste of sunlight suggests the émigré country is a comforting and warming place. Hollow doll I have interpreted to be a fragment of her childhood. A passport is required to visit other countries. The Émigrée links to other poems in the anthology, including Kamikaze, Checking Out Me History and Tissue. The Émigrée consists of 3 stanzas. The first 2 stanzas are octets, 8-line stanza, while the final stanza is actually 9 lines in length. The poem is best classified as free verse, its rhythms flow and change as it progresses, reflecting its thoughtful, almost stream of consciousness tone. The Émigrée is an unrhymed poem. Having regular rhymes would probably feel too neat and tidy for a poem with such a conversational, introspective tone. Instead, the poem relies on devices like assonance and consonants to lend the poem a sense of musicality. There Once Was a Country is a childlike fairy tale opening to the poem. Alliteration of the W phoneme creates a musical feel. Sunlight, clear. The stanza starts with the image of a distant country remembered from childhood, described as sunlight clear, which implies clarity, brightness, and warmth associated with positive memories. This vivid imagery helps to convey the speaker's nostalgic longing for their homeland. Bright filled paperweights. The memory of the country is likened to a bright, filled paperweight, symbolizing its weightiness and significance in the speaker's life, as well as the permanence of their memory despite physical absence. This symbol reinforces the idea that memories can be both heavy and precious. Tyrants and sunlight. The stanza juxtaposes the speaker's memory of their homeland with the reality of its current state, hinted at by mentions of war and tyranny. This creates a sense of tension between the idealized past and the harsh present, highlighting the disconnect between memory and reality. The stanza concludes with the speaker expressing how their impression of sunlight brands them, suggesting that their memories of the country have left a permanent mark on their identity. This metaphor emphasizes the enduring influence of memory and the lasting impact of one's homeland on their sense of self. White streets of that city. The stanza begins with imagery of the white streets of that city and the graceful slopes, which evoke a sense of beauty and tranquility. This imagery creates a vivid picture of the speaker's homeland, emphasizing its allure and charm. The stanza employs the metaphor of time rolls its tanks to suggest the passage of time and the impact of political turmoil on the speaker's homeland. The image of tanks rolling evokes a sense of conflict and oppression, highlighting the changes that have occurred since the speaker's departure. The frontiers rising, close like waves, is a simile that compares the physical barriers separating the speaker from their homeland to waves. This comparison conveys a sense of fluidity and movement, emphasizing the ever-present divide between the speaker and their past. The child's vocabulary, carried by the speaker, is symbolized as a hollow doll that opens and spills a grammar. This symbolizes the speaker's reconnection with their childhood language and culture, highlighting the enduring influence of their homeland on their identity. The Émigrée delves into childhood memories and the resilience they provide, even in exile. The poem portrays memory as a comforting beacon amidst upheaval, with the speaker's recollections of her war-torn homeland remaining vivid and unwavering. Despite the passage of time and distance, memories grow stronger, serving as a refuge from the harsh realities of the present. The speaker's lack of possessions accentuates the importance of memory as her sole connection to home. Yet, the poem also hints at the limitations of memory, suggesting that it may be idealized and incomplete, akin to a hollow doll. The imagery of combing the city's hair and loving its shining eyes creates a vivid and intimate portrayal of the speaker's relationship with their homeland. This imagery evokes a sense of tenderness and nostalgia, emphasizing the speaker's longing to reconnect with their city. The city is personified as docile as paper, imbuing it with human-like qualities. This personification emphasizes the speaker's affection and control over their memories of the city, highlighting their deep emotional attachment to it. The repetition of city emphasizes its significance in the speaker's life and highlights their strong emotional connection to it. This repetition reinforces the theme of identity and belonging. The accusation of darkness in the free city is ironic, as the speaker's homeland is described as sunlight clear in previous stanzas. This irony emphasizes the contrast between the speaker's idealized memories and the reality of their current situation. Through the lens of the speaker's narrative, the poem underscores the fragility of personal attachments in the face of political upheaval and highlights the pervasive impact of state power on individual lives. The absence of specific details about the speaker's current circumstances underscores the universality of the immigrant experience, emphasizing its widespread and timeless relevance. The poem begins with an almost fairy tale-like invocation, "There once was a country," suggesting a nostalgic longing for a past that no longer exists in its original form. The speaker's childhood memories serve as a poignant reminder of a home irreversibly altered by conflict, with physical distance paralleling a profound emotional and cultural disconnection. The act of combing the hair of the city and cherishing its imagined features reflects the speaker's desperate attempt to restore intimacy to a relationship now confined to memory and imagination. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful.